Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher is going to be talking with individuals from the Southern Ohio Advocacy Group, so stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher is bringing a number of different individuals that are going to talk about how they support individuals who have different disabilities. Chris, always a pleasure talking with you.
Always a pleasure to be here, Patrick. Today, talking about advocacy. July is Disability Pride Month, and March is Multiple Disability Awareness Month. Today, we're going to talk with Southern Ohio Advocacy Group here in Ohio. And I want to hear about what their group is about and how they got started, or what do you do and what have you gotten done through your advocacy group work. Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what kind of work have you seen that became pretty good out of the advocacy group.
Okay, thank you, Chris, for having us on today. We appreciate the opportunity to talk about our group. The Southern Ohio Advocacy Group is a group that is managed by Southern Ohio Council of Governments. We have 15 different counties in our region and one outside of our region who are part of our group. I have with me today Bill Adams, our president of our group, Faith Bowman, who is our vice president, and Travis Dressbach, who is co-facilitator with me of this group. Bill is going to share with us first a little bit about the group, what we do, and who we are.
My name is Bill Adams, and I'm the current president of the Southern Ohio Advocacy Group, which consists of 14 counties: Adams, Athens, Brown, Clinton, Fayette, Highland, Jackson, Lawrence, Pickaway, Pike, Ross, Scioto, and Vinton. We meet in Chillicothe on the third Tuesday of every month. Of course, we are an advocacy group for people that has disabilities. As self-advocates, we encourage others to speak up for themselves and others. We bring topics to our meetings that our self-advocates would be aware of, such as stable accounts, voting rights, remote care services, and other topics. We sometimes bring speakers in so they could ask questions about a certain topic. We are thinking about showing a movie about disability rights and how people before us fought for their rights to be heard, thus forming the American Disability Act, the ADA. I know that I wish I had a group like this in my younger years, listening to the topics that relates to me.
Thank you, Bill. And now Faith Bowman, our vice president, is going to talk a little bit about our meetings, how often we meet, where we meet, and when we meet.
Well, we meet at Chillicothe the third Tuesday of every month. We meet for our meetings.
And we meet at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
And the meeting usually ends around 12:30.
Yeah, unless we run late.
Yeah, and sometimes we do have special meetings. We do run a little bit late, but typically we try to stick to the 12:30 ending time. We meet at the Service Center at 475 Western Avenue in Chillicothe. We use the educational service meeting rooms that are there inside the service center. We meet from 11 o'clock to 12:30. And as Faith said, it is the third Tuesday of every month. Travis Dressbach now is going to talk to us a little bit about some of the upcoming topics that we plan to talk about for the remainder of 2024. And he's also going to talk about some of the projects we've done in the beginning of 2024.
Thank you, Kelly. So some of the upcoming events that we have are, well, we just did one. We actually went to Scioto County and had a day with their Developmental Disabilities Office. They have a festival the first week of every summer to kick off the new summer. They have had it at their park in West Portsmouth, Ohio last week.
In the past, we had several different picnics in our local park here at Yaktangi Park in Chillicothe. We've brought in the mobile smart home from SOCOG. Their IT director, George Myers, has shown various different technology that can be used inside the home to make the home safer, more accessible for people with disabilities. We've had speakers come in from groups like Stable. We've had a area author who is disabled and does write about his disability, writes children's books about disabilities. He has come in and spoke to our group about his inspiration. We've had the Ohio Technology Ambassadors come in and talk about the technologies that they use. We've also taken on a project recently. We're working with the Ross County Crusaders, trying to make some changes to our local park to make the park more accessible for everyone. Let's talk a little bit about some of the upcoming projects that we have going on. I think it was mentioned earlier when Bill was talking about voting rights. We have a speaker coming from the Secretary of State's office who's going to speak to our group in October about voting rights and making voting more accessible. They're going to be talking about things that have changed, things that have been done to make voting more accessible, and also get some feedback from our group on what changes might like to see made. Because our group is, first and foremost, we want to get information out there to those who might not be familiar with disabilities, might not be thinking about how certain obstacles might affect others. And we want to highlight to them what changes need to be made and share our knowledge with them. That's going to be our meeting on October 15th is going to be a little bit of getting information from them and also sharing some information from what we've seen with the Secretary of State. So it should be a good, productive meeting. We are going to have the mobile smart home come back, and George Myers will do another presentation. He's added some new technology, including a robot to the mobile smart home. We did get a peek at the robot last time he visited us, but the robot was brand new, was still learning some new skills. So we're eager to see how that technology has advanced over the past year. We're hoping to have the mobile smart home in the month of September if the weather permits, because it will be an outdoor event. And then we will also do our annual Christmas party in December. December is always a month where we kind of step back from our normal business meeting and do something fun. We all enjoy food, and we have a gift exchange, maybe make some Christmas crafts, and just kind of relax and make it just basically a party. But for the rest of the year, we kind of stick to business and try to be productive and give everyone a chance to talk and share their thoughts and feelings about advocacy.
So I know that this is an advocacy group that we're talking about here in Chillicothe, Ohio, and Southern Ohio.
Mhm.
And, there's been multiple times I have joined your meeting and listened. I like listening to individuals talk about their struggles. And then in the background, I'll take those struggles and talk about them on social media. Just get the word, getting people talking about it and asking questions about it, because it's important that those folks that don't come to our meetings need to hear what our struggles are. Tell us a little bit about things that you hear and the things that you may have got accomplished by getting out there and knocking on doors, the representatives and the governor. What kind of things that you could tell us that had gotten accomplished? You talked about the park, but is there any other things that are out there that you could think of that got, like I said, accomplished?
So if I could do that, Kelly, that'd be great.
I was going to say, Travis, tell them your story about the service center and the changes that were made there.
First, I want to talk a little bit about the park again. Kelly said before, we're going to be starting a collaboration with the Ross County Crusaders, who's an advocacy group as well in Ross County, Ohio, Chillicothe. Some of the issues that we had as a SOCOG advocacy group had been looking at were like the dilapidated bathrooms, parking spaces not being wide enough for vans to unload, just overall aesthetic and accessibility. We've partnered with Ross County Crusaders to kind of do a collaborative effort with them. Their main purpose right now is, or they're getting a grant through state of Ohio, I believe it is, to do a project at Yaptanji Park in Chillicothe in regards to adult changing tables in the bathrooms. But the bathrooms they're looking at need to be torn down and redone completely before that even happens, at least in our group's eyes. Another feel-good story that I kind of was wanting to talk about is, so I've been with SOCOG since 2014, and we had been having our meetings at the Ross County Service Center since then, off and on. And I noticed that one of the first times I went to the Ross County Service Center, the bathroom stall in there that was for the wheelchairs and people with disabilities was not big enough. So I contacted the Ross County Commissioner's office and told them my issues about it not being wide enough, not being long enough. You know, my feet were hitting the toilet. I couldn't move once I was in the stall. Could barely get the door closed to the stall. So like I said, I contacted them, and within about 2 weeks, they contacted me back and said they had somebody that was going to be going to looking at it and figure out if it was actually ADA compliant or not. Come to find out, it was not. It had not been updated since 1995, and so I thought it was going to be one of those projects that would take 6 months to a year to finish. And within a month and a half, the completion was done. So it just goes to show that if you don't say anything, then nothing will get completed, and you'll just have to deal with the barriers that you're dealt with.
What other kind of things are you working on to bring awareness and helping the community to be more accessible for those that with multiple disabilities?
The 15 counties that we're part of, Kelly and I have reached out to each one of the counties themselves, to their advocacy coordinator or their superintendent, to see if we can get more individuals from those counties, because there's, from month to month, there's counties that did not come to our meetings and still haven't come to our meetings. So that's a struggle that we're working through, or trying to work through, is to try to get more attendance in our meetings once a month. I know sometimes it's hard when you got counties that are coming from an hour and a half away and can only stay for an hour or less, and sometimes it's not feasible for them to come just for that little bit of time. But we're always looking at ways to expand our group. Before the pandemic, we had average per meeting per month, 60 to 70 people. Since COVID has ended, well, not ended completely, but subsided a little bit, we've had 30 to 40 maybe in the last
That's our
few
average.
meetings, which is our average. But right after COVID, it was 8 to 10, maybe 15 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
So it's building back up, and it's going in the right direction. It's just going to take time for us to grow that group again.
Well, I see a lot of places, stores and different businesses that are not accessible, and a lot of restaurants that are not accessible, and different places, and some of the community events are not accessible. You're talking about there's no interpreters, there is no wheelchair ramp, no push button. I've noticed a lot of times trying to get into McDonald's, it's a struggle. I had a friend that almost fell out of her chair just trying to get into a McDonald's because of no easy access. So are you guys working on getting out there in the community and showing our community what we need to be more accessible and be able to enjoy our community no matter what?
So as a group, since it's so hard for us to meet more than once a month, we've kind of tasked each county to come back with ideas that they've encountered, problems they've encountered in their counties, to see how we can, as a group, give suggestions or work on a project to help that county fix their issues. So usually, like I said, members from our group will come in once a month. We always ask, what have you been working on in the last month to make your community better, is one of our questions. So
That's usually the first question we
Yes.
ask at the beginning of each meeting is, what have you encountered in the past month? What challenges? How have you handled them? What have you done? Often people who are in the group, experienced members like Bill and his wife Sherry, they will share stories about similar situations they've seen and how they have spoken up and what measures they have taken to
Right.
make changes in their communities. Because we don't just want to come in and fix every problem that comes up. We want to empower our members and give them skills and tools that will allow them to speak up and make changes in their communities. Because if it's a small, I say small, but I know it's not small to everybody, but if it's an issue of getting a bathroom changed, like Travis did in the service center, that was just a simple matter of they didn't realize that it was an issue, because they don't, if you're not in a wheelchair, you probably don't see the issue with the stall. You think, oh, it's a bigger stall, it's fine. But once Travis pointed out to them that it was not actually compliant, they took care of the situation. So that was an easy fix. It's when people are encountering problems that are big problems that they can't handle on their own. That's when we want to step in and help come up with a solution. Like with Yaktangi Park, there's a grant that Ross County received to get adult changing stations put in various places in our county. The park is going to be an issue because the bathrooms are so old, they are not prepared to take on changes like an adult changing station. So it's going to be a community project where probably more than just us are going to be getting involved. They're going to have to raise some money. It's a big project. Our group wants to help take on some of those big projects, but in order to know what they are, we need feedback from our communities. That's why we're encouraging all of our 15 counties to send members if they can. If you cannot send a member because of distance or time or travel, we do have Zoom meetings, and we want to encourage everyone to log on to those Zoom meetings. We have a link, and we use the same link for every meeting every month. That can be found on our website. It's also found on our Facebook page. We want people to join us in any way they can. We're also taking our meetings on the road and doing meetings in other counties so that it's not a far distance for everybody. Like we had a meeting last month in Scioto County to make it easier for our southern counties to attend. We want to continue that pattern. So we're inviting all of our counties that we work with to offer to host a meeting. We'll take care of the planning, the arranging, just give us a location and we'll set everything else up.
So if you individual with multiple disability and those that without disability, and they want to be part of the advocacy group and they want to really get out there and help individuals with multiple disability, are they welcome to come to your meeting? They want to be that stronghold for those that, may not have a voice, but they want to be a voice for them.
Mm-hmm.
We also recently just had a group of students from one of the local high schools who are transitioning out of high school in the next year or so come to our group just so that they can learn what advocacy is, so that when they get out in the real world, they can advocate for themselves as well, and even better than probably what we're doing.
Everyone is welcome to our meetings. There's no limitations to who can join. It can be individuals with disabilities. It could be family members, community members who just want to get involved in help, classrooms, anyone can come.
So if our governor of Ohio and all the representatives and the senators are watching this video right now, what would couple things that you would want them to hear and know?
Welcome to attend any of our meetings at any time. We would love to have a representative come and meet with us, talk with us, and hear what our concerns are.
I think it would be good to have a state representative at any advocacy meeting, whether it's advocating for people with disabilities or advocating for gun rights, whatever it may be.
Yeah, why don't we invite him, try and invite him to our next meeting? Why don't we try and invite him? If anybody's watching and wants to come to our next meeting, come and see us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just gave me an open invitation. Well, why not?
So have you seen in the past that brought up issues with the representative or the governor? Were they a good help and got out there and helped you in this advocacy?
We really haven't met with any legislators or stakeholders in our particular group, but I myself have been to other meetings throughout the state where there's been legislators available to speak with, and they've been very receptive to the issues that I've brought to their attention. And I am slowly seeing some of that taking shape in a positive way.
We want our representatives to come to the meetings and our governors and in our county to come and hear about what, we struggle and how we have issues with accessibility and access and different things. So we encourage them to come, right?
Yes.
Yes.
My wife and I did a presentation on the marriage penalty, such as people who are on SSI. The government would take some of our incomes away, but my wife and I are on SSDI.
I'm also curious, do you have businesses that also attend your meeting? Business people?
Yes and no. We have some people who are in businesses that serve our clientele, like businesses that are offering,
Yeah, like the bus,
like Safe
the
at
bus
Home.
driving people that came, like the people who shuttle people with buses and
Yes.
sell coffee. They come like the last.
We had, that was a public transportation
What was it called?
organization, not, yeah, they were a government organization who works with individuals with disabilities to provide transportation. They came to our meeting last year to get feedback from us on what changes needed to be made to their program to make their program better. And then recently they came back in and gave us an update on how the program had been changed, what was going on, and to get more feedback from us on how those changes were working or not working. We don't usually have a lot of regular private businesses coming. I mean, they're always welcome. I know with our meetings being in the middle of the day, it's sometimes hard for people to get away from work to come and join us. But they would always be welcome to join us through Zoom during their lunch break, or I would be happy to talk with them and hear from them and share information to our group for them. Like I said, we want to get as many people involved in the group as we can because we understand that numbers equal power. So we want as many people involved as we can.
Do you have any encouragement words that you would like the audience to know and hear?
I want everyone to know, no matter where they are, no matter what their disability might be, they do have a voice. And we want to help you be that voice. If you don't feel that you can speak up for yourself, if you're afraid to do so or don't know the right words to use, or maybe physically can't come up with the words on your own, we want to help you. We have many people in our group who have been in your shoes. They've encountered those challenges. Many of them have overcome those challenges, and we want to use that knowledge to help you. Please come and see us, reach out to us, email us, come to a meeting. We want to be there to help.
Yeah, I would like to thank, just piggyback on what she said, I would like to thank everybody who also has been helping us out, like who helps us with the meetings and everything. I would like to thank everybody. And I would like to say that, yeah, people with disabilities have trouble speaking out. It's good that you speak out for yourself and advocate for yourself.
Want to thank all of you for attending the meeting. It's been very educational, and I really appreciate all the work that you do. We're talking with individuals from the Southern Ohio Advocacy Group, Christopher Cooley, Technology for Independence. Thank you very much, all of you, for the information that you've shared with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. This was an interesting experience.